Hello and welcome to the Fernandez Cup, round one here at Autodromo de El Fernandez for what is going to be a long and highly anticipated race. We're here on the grid with qualifying over. Let's go down to the grid. So we start with Nojon, who got a surprising pole position after complaining so much about how he hates qualifying. So we'll give a nice little chat. Hello. Yeah, he should have high hopes for the race today. The car proving to be very good, especially due to the aero. I think it pushes the torque down and it probably gets the most out of it. Second position by only a tenth of a second, just like that much is San Stimo, and I think he will be here looking for the win because, well, that is his obvious aspects and his hopes for this race. The car looks extremely good here. It's light and dispersed its speed very well. In third place is Mr. 33 in the, well, not so much tested TPS racing car, but did show a bit of surprise when we saw him pop up third. Not so far off the leaders, I don't believe. He had a 58.7, which is not too bad because the pole position time and second position time were both 57s. So here we go with Lotus 128. Bit of a disappointing qualifying, as probably imagined on his behalf. Him and Nick, his teammate, have had problems all day. Nick without DRS and some gearbox issues for the Lotus car. So Lotus just having to put up with their troubles, and they're going to try and see what they can do in this race. Lotus is expecting a podium, while Nick is just hoping for a good race. Nick actually did quite a good time considering he had no DRS, barely a second off the pace of the leader. And the last two rows, the last row even, is occupied by, well, Mugen, who sadly crashed during his only lap. Obviously it's a Super Bowl, so they weren't allowed to redo their lap, and a real kind of title contender and kind of anticipated title contender is Mugen. So we'll see what he can do from the back of the grid. And struggling all through today with, well, loads of problems, understeer, gearbox failures, well, just not enough power, is Spazzy Pingu, who as well crashed during his qualifying lap. So them two occupy the back of the grid, and he doesn't sound too positive, does Mr. Spazzy Pingu in the Trip Racing car. So, you know, it's just first race struggles. You can't win a championship at the first race, but you can definitely lose it. So, same goes for a race. So, the grid is set. The drivers are ready. I'm ready. Let's give you a first race to remember here at Autodromo de El Fernandez. The stewards are just getting ready. Myself, just getting everything ready. Just explaining how many laps. Originally, it should take about 32 laps around here, but if worse comes to worse, we will change it to a time-based because we're a little bit behind schedule due to qualifying and some mistakes happen with the track and all sorts of things. So anyway, the grid is ready, and it's go, go, go! And it's a good start from Nojon. San Stimo, so doing a very good start. and they all go wide into turn one. Well, predictably, Nick No has already lost a position off the start, and we don't see Spazzy Pigo, and that is a... Who is that? That is Mugen. That's Mugen that's got stuck. Actually, he got an incredible start, did Mugen. He went from practically last to third, and he's been the first victim of, well, the gravel and the anti-cut. Can he push his car out of the anti-cut? We will see. But double wave yellows at turn 2, well, the chicane, and I didn't see Spazzy Pingu leave the grid by the looks of things, so this might actually have to turn out into a safety car situation, which will be the leader and everyone that catches up will put on the pit limiter. Yeah, he stalled, or hasn't really made it through much. I think that's just no engine power, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the end of his race, as Mugen trying to get his car off the anti-cut. We're still looking at Spazzy Ping. Yeah, he's left the car. There's just no power. There's no power, and it's a bit of a shame for trip racing as Mugen gets out of the anti-cut, a lap down now after what was pretty impressive start. But we look at towards the front, and it is Sam Stimo who's now taken the lead from Nojon after a very interesting start. In third position, I believe that's actually Nick No, without a DRS. It could be Lotus. It's one of the Lotus cars. We'll see when he comes through. So Sam Stimo, there's Nojon, and the camera moved as Mr. 33 has actually gone backwards in this race, and one of the Lotus cars trying and overtake him while Mugen tries to rekindle his race, although it's a bit dead at the moment, into the chicane, and it's two main people at the front here, and a Lotus in third position as my voice decides to just run out of breath. There goes Mr. 33. That's Lotus 128, so that's Nick No in third, so that's impressive. No DRS and in third. What are we up to now? I believe this is lap 3, so DRS will be activated this lap. Sadly for Nojon, he is not close enough at this stage to activate it, and well, Nick No doesn't have it, but Lotus does, and we'll see. Was that Nick? I'm getting confused between both the Lotus cars. Yeah. It must be Nick, because if not, I think he would have got past Mister if that was because he was in the DRS zone. So that must have been Nick. As I believe that's actually Nick who's gone into the pit lane. So that's probably why he didn't go past. And that is Mugen taking a pit stop as well. Still a lap down as Sam Stimo leads by about a 1.5 second gap here, maybe a little bit more, edging more towards the 2 second range. But Nojon keeping the Angry Birds racing car true. He obviously showed the capabilities of it in qualifying, so I wouldn't be surprised if something happened, like maybe because, you know, I think Sam Stimo has a better experience at race starts, and he's had more experience on how to control the beginning of the race. I mean, Nojon, all credit to him. He's just won the Lotus World Series title, but you know, when you're against one of the best, well, he's technically against the Lotus champion, so it's a battle of the champions up at front, and it's all about consistency. While we just look at this little weird scrap over here between Nick No and Mugen, who has unlapped himself, probably using DRS, and Sam Stimo controlling his lead quite well. I think Nojon must have pitted, because that is some heck of a gap he's got there. Oh, he's crashed! Sam Stimo's crashed! He's crashed into the pit lane. Oh my god! He can't do his pit stop. He's got to repair the damage before his pit stop, and that's actually lost him a position to, I believe that's Lotus, who, whoa, very slow on entrance, something wrong there, but Sam Seaman now has to try and get back to the garage and repair his car, so that puts Norjon back into the lead, who has indeed pitted. So, drama here. I didn't expect that, losing the back end of the car into the pit lane, and, well, just could not keep it out of the barrier. So, he's managed to get it back into his garage and repair, but he is 2 pit stops down. In the meantime, Norjon leads, not letting the pressure get to him by the looks of things, and I believe that is, well, there's actually a big gap to second, so I can't exactly see who it is, to be perfectly honest, but it is indeed Mr. 33, then Lotus, so Mr. 33 getting him somewhere in the pit stop stage, and well, Lotus will probably have DRS, while Nick No almost goes into the gravel, and there we see a lonely Sam Stimo practically in last place, just obviously in front by a lap in front of Mugen. So that is 5th position for, oh, there's a big crash, and I believe that's Mugen that's crashed, and, well, that's a shame. Although his race didn't have much potential in the end anyway because of the lap being beached, and it is a safety car situation or a double yellow situation, so the leader will have to put the pit limiter on, and wow, Sam Steamer makes his pit stop, and it's a sad day for Mugen. One of the main favourites in the bookies, as Norjon pits for the second time, just to get the compulsory 2 pit stops out of the way. Clever thinking by the Scot. We are currently 12 minutes through this race, so that puts us, I've lost count of the laps, so I'm relying on time at the moment. We should be finishing towards 6 o'clock here in the UK, which will be 7 o'clock in Europe for us Europeans, as I believe that's Nick No Pits making that his second pit stop, as well as Lotus actually didn't pit, so this is a bad call because everyone has to go on the pit limiter, and wow, this could be a bad decision. Admittedly, he could catch up and then put the pit limiter on. There's nothing against that, although I didn't think I explained it very well earlier. So apologies to the drivers. But Norjon's been told to just stay still for a second. Let the others catch up. And Nick, this Lotus plan has gone well to plan. I think Sam Steamer made his second stop, which he has, and it is at the moment both Lotus cars finding themselves second and third, with a Lotus Junior team car in first. So it's Lotus all the way there, as I don't know what the Super GP or Sam Steamer is doing, but has decided to go well off. And we have reports that Mr. 33 has crashed but made it to the pit lane, although he's already made his second pit stop. I think he's damaged because he was in front of Sam Steamer and now he's nowhere to be seen. So it is a very bad day for the TPS team at the moment, not getting the positions they possibly wanted. I mean, Mr. 33 was happily in second before this safety car-esque type breakdown, but now it's looking like he's going to finish last at this rate. Actually, where is he? Because he, as I said, he is nowhere to be seen. Ah, there he is, coming down the back straight. They'll be going around for another lap, and then we should hopefully be green. but we will see. Nojon leads the way, and we didn't expect this from the Angry Birds racing team as we look at what's going on in the paddock at this very moment. No activity. Obviously, I think the drivers that have retired have just left the track. Mr. 33, I think, is diverting to the pit lane. Oh, no, he's not. So, just weaving there. Get the heat into the tyres. They'll go around for another lap. This is actually quite a slow process, so it's going to take a little while. Nick No, who's got electrical difficulties in his car, problems even. It's a bit harder for him because he has to maintain a speed limit manually, and he obviously doesn't have DRS, so this puts him into a much worse position than the rest of the field. But he's doing very well. He's in second position, and Lotus is the only car there who hasn't actually done 2 pit stops. So he's the big, how can I put, loser, and it's Nick No in third at the moment, but it will possibly be second by the end of this pit stop window, which is now open again for a second time, making the teams able to pit again. Normally, if we didn't have a safety car race, the pit stops will probably have to be diverted differently because, well, it's just how it is. But because we're short on time this week, no real pit stop rules have been applied, and it really does depend on the course of the race. If you're losing time, it's better to pit, or if you're gaining time, it's better to stay out. So it relies more on the driver's strategy. But with these yellows, we're not going to see much on the terms of strategy, but more on pure racing, which is what we like to see. And well, pure racing and DRS. That's how it's worked. So DRS will be off for 3 laps, as we are now gone green. And it's there we go. Nick No automatically going past Lotus as planned, I imagine. And in the meantime, Lotus, oh, yeah, that's looks like some gearbox trouble because he got easily passed by Sam Steamer, and Mr. 33 is now looking at the back of that orange car. Oh no, there's another. Someone's beached himself, and both Lotus cars off. Kind of, they've gone from the front end to the back, and Nick No has done exactly the same thing. You might be able to get that out easier, actually. It's like, yeah, it's like a train on the rail, but it is just for safe measures. It's another yellow safety car type thing. So, oh, Nick No's out, but we will still continue the safety car because shows how it is. It will be 1 lap though. It won't be major. He's back and running, so making this race a little bit longer and yeah, a little more tiring because no one likes to be stuck at 60 for a whole lap. But the grid goes as followed. It is Nojon, Sam Stemo, Mr. 33, and Lotus, who now, I believe, is diverting to the pit lane. So he will indeed do his pit stop, which is good thinking. Because if not, he's just going to lose time more in the race. So you may as well do it now because there's no way anything is going to happen. And is this team tactics we're seeing here? Nick going slow enough to let Lotus actually in front. That's interesting. Nick could have easily have taken the position, but decided not to. Nice from Nick No there, and something's got. Oh, Mr. 33 is he's gone off into the gravel. He's actually got himself stuck, and now he has to rejoin the back of the grid in last, which puts both Lotus cars up a position, and that's how it works in professional racing. You mess up on a formation lap, or you mess up on a safety car lap, you have to rejoin at the back of the field. It's the basic rules of racing, and Mr. 33 has now fallen victim to that rule, and is now in last position after being nicely in third, and has gifted both Lotus cars a position each. And so we're going to restart. We're coming towards the reverse parabolica for another time. We're halfway through race distance, I believe. So let's get the show back on the road, and Roger nicely just bunching them up, and making sure that everyone is at least a car length or two behind each car, as we are going to start racing now. And fast getaway from Sam. Whoa! Sam has just instantly taken the lead. Oh no! Oh, there's a big crash! There's a crash! There's debris. How is the car looking? The car is, well, it's easily, it can continue. Meanwhile, at the front, we see Nick No versus Mr. Admittedly, Nick No not giving much space, but that's really kind of put him out of the... Oh, and Nodro's actually got himself stuck, so... Oh dear, it's going to be another yellow type safety car. And, well, Nodro's going to have to push himself out, and if somehow Mr. can get himself out the gravel and get himself back into the pit lane, it's a bit hard to drive with three wheels. I suppose he could probably put the DRS on, even though he doesn't have the rear wing. He's going to try and push it in the direction, which is clever. But can he actually get back into the pit lane is another question. And Nodron having great difficulty trying to get his car out. Oh, and he's regened it, which you're not supposed to do. And he may pick himself up a penalty for doing so. And it's that also saved him from being lapped, although there might be some arguments. He is under investigation later, but now that he's done that, that gives permission technically to Mr. 33 to do it as well, which is not setting a good example, and as I said, will be under investigation after the race, as Mr. 33 actually managed to get himself going again, but has he managed to get back to the pit lane? He's stopped at the hairpin. He's having, yeah, he can't steer the car, he's having to get out of the car, push it around, and then, yeah, I've told him now that he can regen, because due to this nodge on regen, it's not fair on others if they can't do it. So, next time you will be out if you cannot do anything, and Nodjon will be under investigation, may actually pick up a penalty for breaking the rules. Mister won't be though, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't see that happen, and Mister would be out the race. But luckily for them two, they've been given a second chance, and has actually put the Lotus boys into a higher position than they were at the restart. Lotus, who actually got I think, caught up in some weird collision with Sam Stimo. Back in third. Doing alright at the moment. And we're under another yellow safety car. And I think Mr. 33 is going to wait, let him pass, and rejoin at the back. But we will class him as the same lap. Next race is actually at Rotterdam, the new street circuit that I've recently produced. It's going to be, well, thrilling. It's got very interesting last corner, which is more or less as if you did the swimming pool, the full flat swimming pool reversed, and twice at the same time. So, very dangerous, very fast. It's tight, but still raceable, and actually will require a lot of strategy for drivers there, rather than racecraft. Well, you know, street circuits are a thing of talent. If you can overtake or even work your way through using pit strategy, then it's more impressive than if you were just to overtake on a normal circuit. So we're just going to speed up the process here, get towards the last corner quickly. There's a bit of debris on the straight. Shouldn't really affect much. We'll see if we can get the marshals out to clear it. But shouldn't affect much in terms of other cars. So we're just waiting. Everyone's now on the pit limiter as we get ready for this restart, as we are, I think, 10 minutes away from the end of the race. Something along the lines of that. So here we go, last corner. And green flag at the DRS activation zone. This is Nick's chance. He's in second position. He has no DRS, but keeping himself in the race lead contention, and we are go. And well, the grid has been split into two halves by the looks of things. As we now get on, it's a good start from everyone. As we all go through turn one, Mr. goes, or is that Nodron? I can't tell. That's Nodron, goes a bit wide, but I think Mr. lost more time at turn one somewhere. As we see all of them in line, Sam Stino, Nick No, Lotus, Nodron, then Mr. 33. No, well, Nick No staying very close to the rear end of Sam Stimo. I mean, Sam Stimo's got more, I think, of a straight line advantage, especially if he was behind. He would obviously have privilege to DRS, but you know, these errors happen. But I'll tell you someone who has probably got the privilege to DRS, and that is both Nodron and Mr. 33, who will normally, oh, DRS is now back on, so they would have it, but not this lap. Probably next lap, and we will see probably an overtake or two using DRS as, oh, almost getting caught out by the anti-cut, but Lotus, first person to outskill the anti-cut at the chicane. So we go into the hairpin, and are we going to see, we're going to see an attempt for an overtake. That's not going to work because that's a hairpin, and that's a complete dive bomb, and that is sent Lotus into the wall. And, well, there's no other word for that. That is a drive-through for Nodron. There's no way that was going to happen. He was off the racing line. He was way too far back. And, well, there we go. In the meantime, Mr. 33 gets privilege of DRS. And, well, he doesn't actually need to overtake him because he has to take the drive-through, so that's put Mr. 33 into third place. Back onto this battle for first, and wow, same gap as last lap, and Nick really pushing it, because obviously he hasn't got that privilege of DRS, and he's trying to make every advantage he can through the corners, because he knows in a straight line without that DRS the Super GP is much quicker due to the fact that it's lighter, but can easily catch up in the corners. And well, as to be said, it's going to be a tricky time for Nickno. As for Mister, he's a bit lonely in third. Let's see what he can do. Lotus is respectively in fourth place. He's had a lot of troubles over the course of the race, and has been through the wars, and there we go, more troubles with the gearbox. And I mean, all respect to Lotus, he's pushing a car that's not in a very good condition at the moment, and you know, he's a good racer. He always finishes every race, and you know, he deserves his points today. He will get his points nevertheless, and for completing 3 laps, and so will Mugen, although they've had disappointing races. So we're back onto the battle for first place here, and it's the same gap. Poor Nickno is just cannot do it in a straight line, obviously, and he can't get close enough because he keeps spinning away in the straight lines. So there is no actual way for him to catch up, as Mr. now passes in third. Once again a bit lonely, and Lotus with a very damaged car, once again struggling with problems. Once again, not the race he expected, I don't believe, but you know, as I said at the beginning of the race, a championship is not won at the first race unless it's stupidly short. So yeah, Nojon's through. Lotus then him through, no point of fighting him, and helping the junior team out after what has been an eventful race for both drivers, and Nojon picking himself up a penalty, and maybe an additional penalty depending how the feelings about the regen are. The way the penalties work after the race is point reductions rather than time, because it's easier to work out, and it's, I don't know, I think it's fair, because if someone's race is affected and they're out, a 20-second penalty is not punishing them enough, because they've stopped another driver from scoring enough points. So point penalties, I think, is a fairer system in this term, because the likelihood of retirement are higher than usual, as we see Sam Steamer start another lap here. And yeah, we're getting a bit to a stage where everyone's kind of settled in a sense. These two are battling still. You know, Nickno is fighting that car, but nothing's really coming to it. All credit to Nickno, he's doing brilliantly. Narrowly missed out on the Lotus World Series title in his first year. So the kid has talent, and he is on his way to Lotus Championship next year, I believe. So once again, a lot of talent, and really trying to push the Lotus Champ into a mistake, and hopefully capitalizing on that mistake. But at the moment, it's still the same. Elsewhere, not many battles. Mister's kind of in a world of his own, and the other two, well, Lotus is obviously still coping with the troubles of his car. In the meantime, Nojon is trying to make up for lost ground, and I believe, apparently we've had a spin from Mr. 128, but he's back, and well, that's not going to help his cases anymore, help his race anymore. So, as they're getting to a point where everyone's kind of settled, there's not much action going on. Let's go through the calendar while we're here, because we're not going to see much action. So from here we go to Holland for the Dutch Grand Prix in Rotterdam Street Circuit. After that we go to... got to find the calendar now. This is brilliant. In the meantime, Lotus 128 just cruising around now. He's just going to get his fifth position points, and will be happily settled, as we have a few technical difficulties with the camera. It is okay. So we look at towards this battle. There's a battle now for third position between Norjon and Mr. 33, and oh, I'm sorry, it's already been sorted. By the looks of things, Norjon is past Mr. 33. Mr. 33 will get DRS, but will he be able to get past before the corner is a different story. And the question is, no, how did he catch up and pass without me even noticing there? I have no idea. And Sam Seymour coming to lap Lotus 128. We could see a little bit of tactics here in terms of helping out Nickno with his DRS condition, and still quite a while front, so probably won't see it for a while. So this is the Basque Grand Prix, based in Bilbao, just 20 minutes from the city, in a rural town, as Nickno goes just a bit too wide and loses a bit of time, which is not something he really needed. Next up is the Dutch Grand Prix, followed by the Robloxian Grand Prix, which will happen in 2 weeks' time. So it's Holland next Wednesday and Robloxian the week after. Then we go to Madrid for the Circuit de Madrid. Oh, that's very close. And Lotus 128 just getting out in time. Well, for starters, he just managed to let Sam Zemo pass before the DRS detection zone, and left him enough space to actually to let him through. Obviously tactics there, and yeah, that was short-lived. So back onto the calendar, and it will be Imola after Madrid. Catalunya is, well, provisionally on the calendar for 6th round. 7th will be at Hockenheim. The 8th race will be at Valencia. Now this would either be the oh, that's Mr. 33, and he has just gone wide, and I think his chances for 3rd place are now over. The Valencian Grand Prix will be between Ricardo Tormo and the street circuit, depending on what's available at the time. As we come towards the conclusion of this race. Then we go to the US for Long Beach, Japan with the Kyoto Street Circuit, San Joaquin for the Colombian Grand Prix, and hopefully finishing off in Interlagos. So that is your calendar, with probably more dates to be added through the season. So we're back with the race. And although he's been lapped, he hasn't really dropped from the leaders, has Mr. 128. As we just follow these two around. I believe we'll be starting the last lap soon. Not quite sure time-wise. Just waiting for the race officials to confirm anything. Nothing on screen yet. Oh no, this is the last lap, I believe. Yep, I believe it's the last lap. If not the next lap. I think drivers are a bit confused. We will see in a moment. Oh, and Nick has gone incredibly wide at the hairpin, and I think that's it. I think Sam Seamer has got this in the bag. We might even see him lap this though through, but that's a long shot to see that. As I believe this coming lap is the last lap. Yeah, that's what I thought. This coming lap is the last lap. Confusion, but this coming lap. So this lap now is the last lap. So Sam Seamer confused. The race official was just saying, get on with it. Just don't mess up. You don't want to lose your victory now. Oh, Nick now goes into the gravel, and luckily rejoins on track, giving everyone a bit of a scare. And but I don't see Sam Seamer throwing this away, and Nick now has put up a brave fight, but just the technical problems, the electrical problems that the car's been having, it just can't do it. So here we go, down the straight, and Sam Seamer wins the first ever Fernandez Cup race here at Autodromo de Fernandez. Nick No finishes in second with, well, is my man of the race by far, and a well-deserved second. In fifth position and into the pits goes Lotus with a respectful fifth position. Nojon, although he's under investigation, will get third position. Good result. Bit unlucky in some cases, but you know, caused himself to have a penalty with a reckless, well, I wouldn't say reckless, I think it was just over-ambitious. I think any other day, and maybe a less tight corner, and he probably would have had it. And Mr. 33 actually finished the line in fourth with no front wing. So that's pretty much finishes our coverage here, as we now try and set up the podium. But in terms of racing, that's it. We now wait till next Wednesday, where we will be at in Holland for the next race. I hope everyone has enjoyed the first Fernandez Cup race, and from me, I think that's it, as we will probably start moving towards the podium. But for this part of the broadcast, and from me, Al Fernandez, it is goodbye.